Hospital room, heart monitor beating. A few short beeps followed by a long beep and a flat line on the monitor. Your loved one has just passed away. Now what do? Death is not something that we want to think about. The harsh reality is we have to think about it. One day we will all face death. Not being prepared will make things harder on everyone involved. And how do I know so much about cremation? I've worked in the funeral industry for over a year. I have seen people struggle with being unable to afford traditional services for their loved ones. People are uneducated about cremation. Funeral industry is actually gearing more toward cremation than traditional funerals. According to the United National World Population Prospects, approximately 7,452 people die each day in the United States. That means that one person dies every 12 seconds. For each person that dies, some type of disposition must be scheduled. There are laws governing what we can do with our deceased. We can't just leave Grandma sitting in her favorite lazy boy chair in the living room. Most often, you can choose traditional burial or cremation. There are 3 advantages of cremation that I would like to discuss today: cost effectiveness, ease of planning funeral services, and being able to keep a piece of your loved one with you. According to the Lincoln Heritage Funeral Advantage Group, a traditional funeral and burial can cost anywhere between $7,000 and $12,000. These prices include all necessities such as embalming, casketing, a fee for the use of the funeral home, and for the funeral home staff. The average cremation cost is $6,000, or on the low end, you can get one between $1,000 and $3,000 depending on the services you choose. There is free cremation. Free cremation is a method of cremation where the body is donated to science. Once the body has served its purpose scientifically, the body is then cremated and the ashes are sent back to the family at no cost. The only thing the family would be responsible for is an urn if they want something to store the ashes in other than the plastic bag they come in from the crematory. Cheaper options offer an ease of the financial burden. Everyone wants to do what's best for their loved one, but they should not be faced with a decision as to whether they should have to sell the farm in order to afford a lavish service or go for a cheaper option. Ease of planning. In addition to the cost effectiveness, cremation makes planning a service easier. Formaldehyde only works so long. Traditional burial puts more time constraints on when you can have a service and a burial. You could plan for now or for 6 months from now. It wouldn't make any difference with the cremated remains. I have noticed that memorial services are more upbeat when the body is not present. There's more laughing, storytelling, eulogy reading, rather than normal sobbing and crying. The friends and family can still come to pay their respects or fellowship and provide support to the family. You're able to make the services as traditional or as personal as you want. In addition to all of that, with traditional burial, the body is buried in the ground. With cremation, you have the option to keep the ashes or to scatter them in a place of your choosing. You have the option to keep them in an urn or jewelry, such as bracelets or necklaces. And what does this have to do with you? Being educated is key. In the funeral industry, it is essential to be prepared. What can you do? You can go to your local funeral home and talk to their pre-need counselor. There are services such as pre-need insurance or life insurance that can help you can utilize to help ease the financial burden of a funeral. You can compare traditional burial and cremation prices to see which fits your budget. Death is not something that we like to think about, let alone having to make funeral arrangements. My hope is that today I gave you some information that you would be able to use in order to make your own experience easier. There is something comforting about knowing that you'll be able to provide your loved one with wonderful services without having to break the bank. It is always nice to be able to take your time with things such as planning funerals. And being able to keep a piece of your loved one is just the icing on the cake. I don't know about you, but I like to have my cake and eat it too. If you have the option of doing both, why not? Why would you choose anything else?